Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Chris Howells. I'm the Senior Training and Content Development Manager for AprilAire. We're here at Robertson Supply today to provide this session on fresh air ventilation. This is a great conversation to get into because I talked earlier, if you caught on one of the other videos, we talk about this indoor environment getting more complex. As home construction has really started to evolve and become better each and every year, the housing enclosures are getting tighter, which is great for energy efficiency, but it's really bad for indoor air quality. So when we think about creating this healthier, systematic approach to the heating and air conditioning side of our business, how do we incorporate fresh air ventilation into what we're offering? Well, let's start with, why do we have homes to begin with? Well, a lot of homes built way back in the 1800s, it was more back for protection, it was privacy. We started incorporating comfort and efficiency into that. But as we've progressed throughout the building construction side of the industry, we've got a lot of really tight, energy efficient homes. We're seeing foam encapsulation from literally the ground all the way up to the ridge, what we call a monopoly style build house. There is no more soffits and ridge vents to allow that attic to breathe. It's all conditioned space. Then we have insulation not only going onto the inside of the house, but we have a vapor barrier on the outside and another thermal barrier on the outside. We're essentially creating the world's best cooler for us to live in. The challenge with that, though, is now we have a lot of really poor air quality attributes that are going to equal to what's called sick home syndrome. So we want to really combat that, and that's where fresh air ventilation is at the highest level of importance when you're talking about your customers' homes today and their well-being. But you might be saying to yourself, well, why should I continue to watch this because I'm not in the new construction business? I encourage you that this also translates into service and replacement business. As homes are becoming tighter by people investing in energy efficiencies with tight windows and doors, adding insulation, sealing up all the nooks and the crannies that we would normally have infiltrated air, all for the greater good, we also have the opportunity to educate them on what we need to understand in fresh air ventilation. So there's a lot in this subject in itself, and for me to really get into the details, it takes a while. I wanted to share one quick study with you here that AprilAire partnered with Berkeley Labs, and this was back in 2017, so this wasn't that long ago. And they studied homes and buildings in creating a differential between what's happening outside and inside, and let's see what is happening. So I used to use the dirty glass of water analogy. We can see a dirty glass of water, we know it's not healthy for us, and we're not going to drink it unless it's an absolute emergency, versus the clean glass of water. We're going to drink that, it's perceived clean and healthy. So what they did in this study is they added supply ventilation. This is a supply ventilator, and I'll get into this here coming up. They added supply ventilation to the home for 20 minutes every hour. They also added a MERV 13 filter and a MERV 16 filter, and they compared particulate matter size 2.5 microns between what was outside and what was inside. How do we create that dirty glass of water perception into that clean glass of water and analogizing that to the air? It's by running a ventilator through high efficient filtration. We're wringing out the outdoor air impurities, we're diluting the indoor air and eventually replacing all the indoor air. That's what we call an air change cycle, or an ACH. So that, like I said, in itself is a lot to really comprehend in getting into, well, why do we have products today? But here's what I can tell you. As we look at our product portfolio, is in the ventilation category singularly, we're all about supply ventilation or positive pressure ventilation or balanced. So this is an ERV. So this is a balanced ventilation strategy versus this is a fan-powered supply ventilation strategy. This might surprise you, as I'm about to say, but this product right here, this is our model 8145. In 2024, this was our #1 selling product SKU in all of AprilAire. That should tell you alone how the ventilation category has grown, in how AprilAire can align to business today in helping in new construction and service replacement to build that foundation of healthier air inside the home. Now, a lot of it goes into energy efficiency. As I said, if you're on the new construction side, you know that homes are being built to what's called a HERS index, which is a scoring system, which you want to be really low. Lower is better. Well, ventilation strategy does play a part into those scoring system. So a lot of people will sway between these two. But as I said, this has been incorporated by a lot of the top builders and top contractors all across the United States as the go-to, because it achieves those energy efficiency credits and delivers the results. Now, I want to spend just a couple more minutes and I want to introduce you to the control, this ventilator as I said it, and then the ERV. If we think about control, everything we do in this industry is all about how good it's being controlled. Our ventilation control, which is the model 8120X, provides exceptional ventilation control. The reason why? It's all based on math. What size is the home? How many bedrooms are there? And what's the delivered airflow? You need those three things to know how much air we need to be delivering so many minutes per hour. This control is intuitive to that setup, so it's delivering the right amount of air to that home. We're not having to add too much, or we don't have not enough. It's exactly doing what it's going to do. Then we also have built-in temperature lockouts, high temperature, low temperature. We've all experienced these really cold days over the last few weeks here in our service area. Well, we might want to lock out our ventilators during those extreme cold times. This control has that logic built into it. This control also has relative humidity lockouts incorporated in it as well. So if we didn't want to bring in that hot, humid air, this setup, we can set that high temperature lockout and we can set a high humidity lockout and not have to bring in fresh air for that predetermined time. This unit, our 8145, we also have what's called an 8145NC, which stands for no control. The only difference would be this control would not be mounted on the unit as you would see it. You would just see a low voltage terminal block here. How would you control the ventilator? Great question. You can add the 8120X and put this on the return, and now we're measuring the indoor conditions with an outdoor temperature sensor. Or, where a lot of people have gone recently, is incorporating an IEQ thermostat with ventilation, like the AprilAire thermostats that we have. Really easy, simple communications between the two and setup for your homeowners. So that's the 8120X. The 8145 incorporates a normally closed, powered open damper. This is a 6-inch port here. Now you might look on the bottom and see that it's an oval outlet, and that's because we had to be able to get the full breadth of the ventilation that's coming out of this unit, and that allows us to align to it. A lot of contractors, what they're doing is they're just taking flex duct and they're ovaling the flex duct, putting it on and taping it in place and sealing it up correctly there, so it's not a problem. The other benefit to this is delivered airflow. How do you measure how much air is coming in through the ventilators themselves? It might not be easy to see on the screen for you today, but there are two ports right here. These two ports allow you to use a dual port manometer with a quick blower curve chart right here to know exactly how much air is coming in through this ventilator. You have a MERV8 washable filter located right here that's going to collect all the bugs and the big stuff, minimizing it to come in. And then you have all the other benefits, as I said, with a forced air fan inside the unit. So that's the 8145 family. Now on my right here, I've got the V22BEC. This is our ERV, or Energy Recovery Ventilator. The balanced setup is you have 4 ports, as you can see on the unit here. This port is bringing fresh air in. It's going through what's called an energy core in the middle, and this is where transfer of energy happens. This is where we allow temperature to mix from the indoor to the outdoor and precondition that outdoor air. The glory to an ERV is we're also allowing the mixing of humidity. So high is always going to go to low. There's always going to be that thermodynamic property. But at the end of the day, if we've got really cold, dry air coming in, it's going to mix with the indoor temperature and humidity. It's going to precondition it. And then out of this port right here, we're going to deliver that fresh air to the home. As I said, we're going to bring in the stale air here at the same time, and we're going to exhaust out of this lower right-hand port from your perspective to the outside. So we're going to have 2 ducts going outside, we got 2 ducts going inside, and we're creating a balanced ventilation strategy. There are 2 fans. These are ECM fans that you're going to dial up to a percentage of the fan speed to make sure we have delivered airflow equaled in to equal to going out. So as I said, there's a lot that goes into the ventilation category here. This was just a teaser for you. If you're looking to learn more about ventilation, we are happy to partner with you and provide as much information as needed for you. Reach out to myself, AprilAire, reach out to your local Robertson branch or territory manager, and we'll get you set up with fresh air ventilation. Thank you all for taking the time, and until next time, remember that AprilAire is healthier.